Hi, welcome to another DBMM battle report. Today we are playing later Carthaginian against early Imperial Roman. This is a bit of a test for me that I want to know how to play elephants. I've never really mastered them. I'm fine with one or two behind the lines to scare off enemy knights, but not as my main attack force. Always found it hard to manage troops in front of them that get no recoil, and then troops behind them that get eliminated when they are killed, and also very vulnerable to Siloi. So I want to practice how they can be more effective. So this is the later Carthaginian army. It is designed around 8 elephants, 8 as the main strike force, 8 irregular elephant I. I think I prefer elephant I to elephant O. Their 16 points is a bit expensive. 12 points is a lot more effective. And they're only 1 ME, so when you lose them, it doesn't feel so bad. And their command doesn't break quite as quickly. Don't think the eye is that much of a disadvantage because they tend to die by quick kill or hard flank when they push too far, and I won't make any difference to that. The other thing that is unusual about this army is I've got a big warband contingent that will go in alongside the elephants. That will keep the knights away from the warband, and that is one of the troops that they're very vulnerable to. The real key to this army is the auxiliary. I've got 12 irregular auxiliary and 4 regular auxiliary. So those 16 really provide the fluidity around the clumsy elephants and warbands. They can screen them, they can protect flanks, they can keep Siloi away from them. So that is really the key to make the elephants and warband work. So I've got 3 commands, 2 strike commands that will be doing the attacking, and 1 reserve with the Numidians to be mobile and cause trouble, and the spearmen to keep them away from the Roman blade and to be a mobile reserve blocking the flank or being reserved behind the line wherever they are needed. So we'll see how they do up against the Romans. They only have 78 ME, which is a bit light, but that's because of the elephants that are expensive for their ME. You can see 228, so those are quite robust commands, but the pip dump is not expected to last long in combat. This is the early Imperial Roman army that we are up against. You'll see that it is inert. That makes it very tough. It's fairly tough to begin with, but that extra 75 points makes it really hard to break. You'll see 104 ME. What's been done with those extra points? A strong Armenian ally has been added for cataphracts, including the general, and added some very important light troops to the Roman army. They're a bit short of light troops at this stage, but this gives them some light horse fast, some auxiliaries, and some Siloi, which are really important for supporting the blade line. Command B is the blades. Command A is the mounted command, both CV and some light horse, and they've got the 2 knight F. That's the maximum that this list can have. Army C, Command C is the pip dump that with the regular auxiliary S in that. And 1 artillery. I'll have to be very careful about that. Keep it a long way away from my elephants. Okay, the Carthaginians got to defend, and that is on the near side table. I wanted to have a bit of a narrow frontage. I didn't want to be outflanked because my elephants and warband are pretty clumsy. So I wanted a straight fight in the open on a fairly narrow front. So therefore I put down a marsh, you can see in brown, on the far side, and then we cluttered it with woods, and then some gentle hills were placed as well. So all of these hills are bare gentle hills, 2 from the Romans, 2 from me, gives us both a quite strong defensive position. I put down the BUA. I wanted to sort of block the enemy bare gentle hills, and also I think that I'll be able to beat him in the built-up area with my Siloi and my regular auxiliaries, and that will be a way to create some possible flankings either to the left or the right of the built-up area. I did have 2 boggy flats that I wanted to go down that would enable my warband to go in, but they didn't get put anywhere important. So that is the terrain. I was lucky and I doubled the Roman dice for deployment, which meant that the Romans had to deploy first. A real disadvantage, since that means I will both deploy first. They will both deploy first, and I will move first. So that means the Romans set up in a very defensive deployment. So this is the Roman deployment. As you see, they set up a long way back because I get to deploy second and the first move. That's a prudent measure if you're an inert general, with march blocking on all sides in order to make it hard for the enemy general to pull a march on you. So he's got the blade on his left flank. He's got his Armenians at the front. Expendable allies, and they will be activated just in case they are inert. He's got his mounted command at the back, and he's got his auxiliaries in the middle on the hill. We can dive in for a bit of a closer look. So that is the blade command on the left flank. He's got 12 blade and supporting Siloi. Next door to it, we've got the Armenian Siloi in the front, the Armenian cataphracts on the hill, the auxiliary sitting behind them on the hill, and at the very back, the Roman CV in reserve, able to go to whichever direction they need to. On the extreme left, we've got the Armenian light horse in the foreground, and then behind them from the mounted command, some more CV and the Roman light horse. So that is the Roman deployment. So that's what we can see. Now it's up to you to work out a plan. So as the Carthaginian player, what is our attack plan? Why don't you pause the video and think of how you're going to attack this? Okay, well, this was my plan, that the Romans are tough but inert. So I'll have to take advantage of the fact that they might find it hard to maneuver. I am going to set up and move first. So hopefully I can get up in their face before they have a chance to maneuver. And my main target for this army will be the Armenian ally, particularly those cataphracts sitting there at the front. They can't do a 180 turn and go backwards because they're clumsy troops, and they would be very vulnerable to my elephants. So they're going to be my target, that I'm going to have to take the built-up area in order to be able to attack them safely. And I think I'll be able to do it because he has his auxiliary set back on the hill. and I've got my more auxiliary than him, particularly the regular auxiliary S should be able to take that built up area. It will be pip intensive, but I've got the pips to be able to do it. So I'll take the built up area there. Warbland, I will set up pretty wide, targeting the blade, but I don't want to go 4 deep because then he'd never attack me. So I'm going to set them up only 2 deep, covering all the terrain, with the elephants tucked in behind, and see if we can tempt him to attack the elephants. I'm a bit worried about my left flank. If he whips his CV round to my left flank, that will be a bit vulnerable. But so I'm going to need the spear pip dump to go, and if they're sitting on that left-hand bare gentle hill, it won't be possible for his CV to achieve anything there. So this is my setup. Overall, you can see the warband in front, you can see the elephant behind, then I have the auxiliaries ready to attack the built-up area, and the pip dump is at the back with spearmen and light horse on the road pointed in opposite directions. So that's the detail. The warband command, only 2 ranks deep, got some auxiliaries next to the marsh in order to give a bit more mobility on the flanks, elephants behind, and then my second group of elephants next door to them from the other command with auxiliaries screening them. I have the regular Siloi ready to attack the built-up area with the regular Auxi S supporting them. And I am counting on the light horse to hold this flank, but you'll see I've got the spearman pip dump with command behind them, who will go up that road and then be able to hold the hill for me. So that is my initial deployment, and I get the first move, and fortunately my pips are pretty decent for the first move. So I advance my attack on the built-up area as quickly as possible. I need to clear that before I can push forward with the elephants next door. My spear get to go up the road and then deploy, so that will anchor that flank a little bit. And I push the warband forward. They only get a few pips, but they are able to advance. So that's the warband, 2 ranks deep, coming forwards in the foreground, and the whole line advancing. I want to try and shut down the Roman player as fast as possible so he can't maneuver. I send the pip dump light horse on a wide flanking round the edge. This was probably not worth it, since they will be beyond 1 meter from their general, and I'll be very lucky if I get the pips to enable them to do very much. But it might distract some cavalry on the Roman side. Okay, this is the Roman response. You'll see he moves his light horse fast, wide, in order to create width on the hill. He moves his cataphracts forwards off the hill. Now that's a critical move for me, because that means they'll find it very, very hard to escape the elephants now, because they won't be able to break right, and because they've got the built-up area right next door to them. He switches his 2 commands. He sends his auxiliaries left. He gets the CNC to join them, and that enables him to move them several moves despite them only getting a couple of pips. And he switches his his blade back to the hill. So he wants to swap those 2 commands round, have the blade on the hill and the auxiliary on the left, so that the auxiliary can face up to the warband. Okay, this is my turn. So I managed to get very good pips from my pip dump command, which is a 4, and that enables the Numidians going around the marsh to do 2 moves. You can see them right over in the far left. That will at least distract the Roman player. And my Siloi in the marsh can move forwards, and even though there's only 3 of them, that's a pretty solid claim, since the Romans want their Siloi to engage with the warband. Warband pushes forward, the elephants push forward, the attack on the built-up area pushes forward. So the Carthaginians move forward across the front here. The light horse go wide in order to match up to the Roman light horse, with the spear coming forwards to fill the hole in between them and the auxiliary. The warband got good pips. They only needed 1 pip to go forwards, so that enabled them to shuffle their right flank a little bit and put 3 auxiliaries here. Reason that I have to do this is that the warband's very clumsy, and I'm going past the marsh, and I'm going to need to deploy to defend the flank of this warband, and the warband wouldn't be able to do that. They're too clumsy. So I need the auxiliary in the right-hand column in order to be able to provide some flexibility on this flank. You can also see I've got a screen of Siloi in the front. That is when they were going up against the blade, so that the warband can get the first hit before the blade can charge. Or if the Roman has Siloi, the Siloi will engage before the blade and warband lines clash. Okay, this is the Roman response. He gets very good pips, 663, and a 4 for the Armenian. You'll see in the town, he has turned his line around and retreated them. He didn't like his odds going up against my auxiliary S. He has moved his blade right up onto the hill, and he has deployed his auxiliary in 3 ranks and also moved his cavalry over to be behind the auxiliary. So it looks like he is going to mount a cavalry attack on the warband in 2 turns' time. Okay, this is the Carthaginian move. So they get very good pips again. So that's probably not going to last, but they are doing very well for pips. That means they're able to advance their auxiliary S through the marsh, through the built-up area. They can only move in columns. They can't move as a group. So it takes 3 pips to move them through the built-up area. 2 for the 2 auxiliary S columns, and 1 for the regular Siloi O next door to them. They are now in charge range of the enemy Siloi, who have are in the process of evacuating the town. The rest of the line has come forwards. The warband is in position to charge. They can only charge really on the Siloi, so that's not great, but they will tie up a lot of Roman troops, and I'm quite looking forwards to getting my elephants into those cataphracts. You'll see I had to leave 1 elephant behind because he didn't fit through the built-up area. When I'm better at playing elephants, that will probably happen less often. So the auxiliaries go in on the Armenian auxiliaries. I do have overlaps here from the troops on the side, but I do get very lucky in combat. I'm able to kill 1 auxiliary O and also 1 auxiliary S, which is better than expected odds. All of mine have to move forwards, auxiliary have to pursue. So there could be some nastiness from the cataphract charge, but that's the reason that I've got the elephants behind. So the auxiliaries might die to the cataphracts, but the elephants would take revenge. Okay, and the Armenian had the worst possible roll at the worst possible moment. He rolled a 1 for the pips, and because he's inert, that means he can't move at all. So the Armenian and is paralyzed for this round. That means that my auxiliaries, my line will be able to slam into the rear of the Armenians trying to escape the village, which would be curtains for them. It also means his cataphracts next door can't charge my auxiliary. So that is a disaster for the Armenians. I think it probably seals their fate as a command. If I can take down the Siloi and the cataphracts, that will be enough to break the command. So I also win the double overlapped Armenian auxiliary. And so the way is now clear for him to charge me, but also for my elephants to come forward and take out the Armenian cataphracts. So in my turn, you'll see the auxiliaries all charging in. And the Siloi onto the rear of the Armenian light troops. So that will be pretty decisive. My elephants have advanced so that next turn they'll be able to charge in on the cataphracts. You'll see I did a right turn with my elephants. They were not doing much good up against the Siloi that the Roman player had placed against them. They will be needed to repel the cavalry. Warband will lose against the cavalry, but if the elephants can add some weight, they might be able to beat the cavalry there. So all of the Armenian Siloi go down, as you'd expect from being hit in the rear with multiple overlaps. Does mean I have to step forwards, which exposes my auxiliaries to a countercharge, particularly the Armenian general who is on the edge there. Okay, but I'm quite happy with the Armenian cataphracts charging my auxiliary because my elephants are waiting behind. You'll see the Roman bringing his Siloi in order to take the fight to the elephants with the Siloi and not have to rely on the blade, who are now in position on the hill. Over on the other side, you will see the Roman cavalry now lining up for a charge on the warband with the 2 Knight F in the redcoats ready to charge in as well. Here we see the Roman cavalry and knights going in with Siloi next door to them. All 3 Roman generals are now in combat, and the Armenian general as well. Armenian general hits the auxiliary S, who had to poke their heads out of the built-up area, and the other Roman generals are CVs going into combat with the warband. Here you can see the Armenian cataphracts. They are going down fighting. They are attacking the auxiliary S in order to inflict as much damage as they can. Also, they're counterattacking with the auxiliaries with a hard flank from the light horse onto the Siloi. So they got great pips that round. If only they'd got them 1 turn sooner, they wouldn't be in that tricky position. Okay, so what's happening here? The combats were resolved across the line, that some Siloi got repulsed, and the Roman knights managed to kill one warband going in. This is the Carthaginian response. They advance in the foreground, they advance their light horse in order to attack these Armenian light horse F. That is a good target, because if they can destroy them, and he's lost the Siloi here, and I can take one or two cataphracts, that will be enough to break the Armenian command. The Siloi stuck on the hard flank, but I wasn't able to relieve it, so they have to endure that again. The cataphracts killed the auxiliaries in front of them, but then the elephants countercharged, and so two elephants go in on the cataphracts, one with an overlap. So that should be pretty decisive. Unfortunately, the elephants weren't able to move because they only got one pip. They really want to turn in order to get on to the Roman cavalry. Okay, so the combat results, the Siloi got hard flanked and killed. One cataphract went down to an elephant. The other one managed to stick. And another cataphract got repulsed, and some of the Roman cavalry got bounced, and it has to flee from a warband. That means it takes time and pips to form a solid line again. So this is those elephants going in, have just killed a cataphract. One of the downsides of elephants is they have to go forwards, and they are deep bases. So it means that it's quite easy for them to get double overlapped. You'll see the Roman legionaries getting ready for a counterattack. So this is the Roman counterattack. The knights go in on the warband. The Siloi are keeping the rest of the warband busy. Cataphracts try to fight again, but he's got his Roman legionary going in with two overlaps to try and take out that Carthaginian elephant that pushed too far. So that's the attack from the Roman legionaries. You'll see the Roman player's been very smart. He's put those two Siloi behind that Roman. So if the Roman loses, then the elephant has to advance into the Siloi. One of the reasons elephants are so decisive is because they can kill in both bounds. So if I get lucky and the elephant wins, the elephant will be stuck in with those Siloi afterwards. So the Armenian light horse turned to face the Numidians, and the hard flank is tried again on the remaining Siloi in the built-up area. Okay, this is before combat, so it's going in across the line. After the combat, there was one casualty from the warband, but not too much damage elsewhere. The elephant managed to win against the blade. That was unlikely because it was the Roman attacking with a 4 against the elephant. That was only a 2, but he got lucky, but that means he's now stuck on the Siloi. The Siloi that was hard flanked got killed but that is not that serious. I'm now counting on taking the Armenians down in the next turn with the elephant and the attack on their light horse. So the attack on the Armenian light horse fast goes in, and they are now, their command is disheartened. So that's a -1 to them, and the F makes it another -1. So I'm optimistic that that will do some damage. On the other side, the Romans have lost a knight F, so now they only have one going in alongside their general. But I'm a bit nervous about the elephant that is overlapped that has to take on a Siloi. That is only a 2-2 fight. Good news that my elephants have now been able to turn into line, so they will be able to come through when they get the chance, the warband, since they are far more likely to do damage to the Roman cavalry and knights. So the fight against the light horse was halfway successful. Two of them managed to get killed. And also one extra cataphract died, which means that the Armenian ally is now broken. So those troops will flee off the table, but it will make all of mine impetuous. The elephant next door also managed to kill another Roman blade. So these elephants proving very effective steamrollering cataphracts and blade in combat, but they've been pretty lucky so far. So across the line, you can see some of the Roman cavalry being bounced, but most importantly, there's a hole where the other knight fast used to be. So that's both knight fast from the Romans now lost to the warband, and they only managed to kill one warband themselves. That's because when it is the Carthaginian turn, the knights with 2 overlaps are only 2s, and F makes them effectively 1s. So it's a 3-1 from the Carthaginian side. You just need one bad dice roll for them to die. The warband is doing its job. It's soaking up a lot of enemy attention while the elephants do the striking. So this is after you can see the Armenians fleeing in various locations. The Roman legionaries have covered this town, so I don't think there is much that I can do on this flank. The elephant managed to kill one of the Siloi, which was very lucky. So that's the combat, and that's the result. So this is, again, an extended fight with neither side doing much damage to each other. So this is the final Carthaginian turn, that the elephants all go in. They don't really have much choice about it. I pushed one elephant through the warband in order to be able to do some damage to the Roman cavalry, because the warband aren't really being very effective when they've only got a 3 against a CV4, whereas the elephant is a 5, so even if double overlapped, he will probably be fine. And the spear, now that the blade are outnumbered, feel confident enough to come off their hill and to try to do some damage to the Roman mounted command that is, at the very least, will be force them to use pips to fight. But the Roman general brought in a secret weapon, a new dice thrower for his for the final round, and they get really lucky. They manage to kill two elephants, and one of them on a 6-1. So the elephants did their job, but now two have gone down, which creates quite a big hole in the Carthaginian line. And on the other side, the Roman CNC was forced to flee, uh, but the attrition fight really continues here. So that's the end of the game. You can now see there is a hole in the Carthaginian line, but the auxiliaries in the town aren't too worried about it. And this auxiliary here could be hard flanked by the Roman general, but that would be pretty dangerous given that my general is waiting there behind and might be able to counterstrike in turn. So this is what the end of the game looks like over on the right flank, and these are the casualties. So the command of the Carthaginians that was auxiliary heavy took bulk of the fighting, 6 ME. It will be very close to being disheartened, only needs a little bit more. 3 auxiliary going down and the warband O. Only 1 warband O lost, so that command's pretty solid. For the Armenian command broken, and a couple of blade lost for the blade command, and 2 knights lost in the mounted command. So neither of the other 2 commands at the moment were that dangerous or that close to breaking. But I think when you look at the overall strategic position at the end, it was pretty hard for the Romans to come back, that their mounted command was pretty fully engaged and would be attrition down to a break eventually before the Carthaginians. So that was the game. That the good test for the elephants. They did well, but they were particularly lucky at getting first move and set up second. So that enabled them to get the matchups that they wanted and forced the Romans to scramble a little bit to get the matchups, and inert armies can't scramble very well. So maybe not a fair test for the elephants, but so far this is looking pretty good, that they were killing in both bounds and pretty decisive for creating the breakthrough and breaking the Armenian ally. The hitting the Siloi in the back, that was really good luck. Would only happen 1 chance in 6. But shows you that you can't really take any chances when you're an inert general. You have to be prepared for a 1 to turn up on the dice. So hope you enjoyed the battle report. I will see you on the next one.